How long does a DWI stay on your record in Texas? Find out right now. Howdy, I'm Brian Foley. I'm a criminal defense attorney in Conroe, Texas, and I represent folks who have been accused of a crime in Conroe, the Woodlands, Houston, and that general area. What we are going to be discussing today is how long does a DWI stay on your record? Well, if you plead guilty and you are convicted, meaning like you paid a fine or you went to jail because of it, not jail at the beginning of the case before you bond out, but you're sentenced to jail time, well, then that is a case that is likely to stay on your record forever. Anytime there's a final conviction, the law would basically instruct that it's going to be there forever. DWI is actually the only crime where that isn't true 100% of the time. There is a way to get a DWI even where you had a conviction, you paid a fine or did some jail time, that was it. If a certain number of factors are present in your case, and it'd be something you'd want to talk with a lawyer about in person, talk about your case in particular, there's a way to get a DWI non-disclosed. And what we're going to talk about the rest of the time here in this video is what's the difference between an expunction on a DWI and a non-disclosure, and how can you get those things. So the best way to get a DWI off your record is to get it expunged. That means your attorney has to get the case dismissed for you. It means they got to convince the prosecutor that some element of the crime that they're going to have to prove at trial is not there. They do not have proof beyond a reasonable doubt of all the elements of a DWI. And in a DWI, those elements are that they have to prove that a person was operating a motor vehicle in a public place while intoxicated. They're also going to have to prove it happened on or about a certain date and the county that it occurred in. But what most of the time we're showing that they can't prove is that they can't prove intoxication, or maybe a little less likely, but sometimes they can't prove that operating the vehicle actually happened while the person was intoxicated. So if we can show the prosecutors that there's a reasonable doubt as to one of these elements, then they may dismiss the case. Or if they don't want to dismiss the case right away, they may have you do a class, they may have you do some community service. They have these things called victim impact panels and stuff like that. All that can be an option for how we can get the case dismissed. Another way you can get a case dismissed is by doing a pretrial diversion. It's like a probation. It's a special type of probation offered by the DA in special circumstances. It is not offered in every case or routine cases, but it's sort of a special remedy where they think that the person, they do have evidence to prove that the person was guilty, but they find some other special reason. They believe the person has some redeeming qualities. They have a plan. Maybe they're 19 years old and they made just a bad decision after prom. Nobody got hurt in a wreck or anything like that. They were honest with the officer. They submitted to a blood test and they want to be a doctor. Well, this is not going to work out for them if they want to be a doctor and they try to get something that's going to stay on their record. They need an expunction and they have got to get it wiped completely off of their record. That's what an expunction does. So the other thing you could try to get a DWI off your record is what's called a non-disclosure. It's not as good as an expunction. An expunction gets the police and the courts to actually delete their records, and it becomes a crime for them to possess any of the items related to your case. A non-disclosure seals the case from public view. Now, the police are still going to be able to see it. The medical board that tries to license doctors and new med students, they're still going to be able to see it. There's a laundry list of government agencies that are still able to see a deferred probation. And a whole lot of other places. What a non-disclosure does is it'll limit the public's view to go onto the regular clerk website and look it up. So not as good as an expunction for sure, but it is better than nothing. It's better than it just staying out there on your record at all times. A non-disclosure will also let you say on things like job applications that you haven't been convicted. So if you have a question about non-disclosure as it relates to your specific case, give us a call. Be glad to talk with you about that. If you need help getting a non-disclosure or an expunction on a DWI, or just help with a DWI, I'll also be glad to help you with that. If you like this video, please leave a comment and give us a like and subscribe. Thanks so much. Hopefully we all learned something today. Thanks for watching.